Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. Going to be bringing you guys a game between Mouz Sports and Evil Geniuses. These two teams going up against in the quarterfinals. Both of them have shown great potential throughout the tournament, each getting first place at least once, and individually just showing a lot of strength for their teams. So should be an interesting matchup here. We are going to be running a couple of stand-ins here this time around. It looks like it is going to be Universe in place of Demon on Evil Geniuses, and unless he ends up showing up by the end of the draft, we are going to be looking at Rise filling in for Black. So moving on over to the draft screen. Thank you guys so much for tuning on into this TPL S5 Season 5 Mjolnir Cup. This is going to be an interesting series coming up in just a second. So I myself am Blaze, and once again, Triumphant Man, welcome back to the broadcast. What's going on?
Man, Rice had so much fun last game. He said, you know what, I'm coming back for a second game. Here he is. So, you know what, Mouz Sports generally, I mean, they have a plan that usually revolves around Black getting a ton of farm, and if he doesn't show up tonight, then it'll be interesting to see how they adapt to that. Whether or not they'll still go for some kind of high carry, if they'll just say, you know what, let's play something a lot different, a lot more aggressive. EG though, we'll see how they go. I mean, EG, great team, really good. Unfortunately, it cannot be denied the fact that when given half the chance to, they will pick up that ball and throw it as damn well hard as they can to lose the game. So, you know, there is that. They're always unpredictable. You never know what the hell is going to happen. But Nature's Prophet banned out, along with, interestingly enough, the Gyrocopter first ban, which is something we have not been seeing a whole lot of lately. And it's been all about the tree. The Lone Druid, obviously. Lone Druid still remains a really popular ban. But yeah, I mean, Tree's been sneaking his way up. And then Nargissaren, even against select teams, has been starting to get banned out first a lot as well. Wisp is still a huge threat against the right opponents. So Gyrocopter not really been hitting the first ban. Still being banned every now and then in the second phase. But really, I think everybody's kind of happy with him. They know how to cope with him. And he's not as bad as it's just... I mean, I think, in all honesty, I think the Obsidian Destroyer has become such a huge threat that people are like, Jesus Christ. They might not ban him out, but they're always worried about him.
Definitely. Yeah, I think in this case, it's not really a ban of, oh my gosh, we can't deal with a gyrocopter. It's more to open up the pool than anything else. I mean, yes, they don't prefer gyrocopter in this circumstance. They'll take it off the board, but that gives Evil Geniuses a hard pick. I mean, Batrider, Darkseer, I guess maybe not as prioritized as much, but also the Treant, also, you mentioned the OD. That's, I mean, a lot of really, really powerful picks. I'm curious to see what they end up picking up. I mean, Koikwa has a really, really good repertoire with a lot of those offlane heroes, so Batrider, maybe a Lone Druid, not nerfed too hard to be out of the scene. It could be something still in the first few picks, so definitely a lot of different things that they could be looking for, and I'm curious to see exactly what they end up going for, but it's more so about Evil Geniuses right now. It's on them, and they ban out a Tinker, of all things, so I have seen Rise play some awesome Tinker before, and that might be something they're concerned about a little bit, but for right now, we're just going to see them at work, with pretty much an open pool. They can go with whatever they want to start off, and Evil Geniuses will snap up the other two. So, for right now, it's difficult for Mouz Sports to actually assemble a strategy without knowing what Evil Geniuses have in turn for theirs. So, a Batrider, yes, will be their first pick. Can run on the mid lane. We have seen Fata run that multiple times over, but also Koikva has made it work on that off lane. But now we see Darkseer, we see Treant, and it's going to be very hard to bring a lot of these heroes down.
Yeah, we'll see what they got in mind. I mean, the Tinker ban, the Nature's Prophet ban, two of the better split pushes in the game, the more mobile, highly mobile heroes who push really hard and really savagely. So, you know, maybe that's why they decided to bring them down, basically take them out of the pool quickly. I mean, Tinker's so much isn't really first pick material. Tends to sort of get relegated to the, you know, the fourth or fifth pick. Doesn't really get picked up that early, that often. On the other hand, Furion is a very common pick still. People grab him up straight away as soon as possible, and he remains a really powerful force. That said, it looks like we'll be seeing some Fata Puck tonight. Yeah. Most likely. That's going to be a very solid mid. The question is whether or not they're going to try and launch some kind of offensive try and shut down the tree, or if they're just going to let it go. I mean, Tree, if you pressure his lane, he has so little offer, and it's so hard for him to help out the rest of the map if he's always focused on trying to keep whichever primary carry he's got alive, because they're under a lot pressure. But that said, it can. I mean, even as we've seen, like I saw last week, even if you completely shut down his lane, it can be quite possible to come back if the other couple of lanes manage to win and get back into the game. That said, a third ban here for EG. Now, Mouz Sports probably looking for their primary farmer and their two supports here.
Yeah, most likely. Going to try to round it out a little bit there, and obviously the bans have to be able to account for that. But there is a possibility, as you said, that aggressive Triland will be really, really well focused up against a Treant, where he can't have his global presence because it's all focused down on that lane. And honestly, he only provides so much, especially with limited mana pool and limited early levels. So we'll see if they can actually put their pressure up there. Maybe Rise's pass and notes a little bit. A Batrider solo 1v1 bottom lane versus Darkseer, not too shabby. And could maybe see a little bit more of that courtesy of Quoiqua, and then the aggressive Triland would follow suit. But there is a message, no message, just 2 disconnects, and hopefully they'll be able to get back on in, or inform us that we need to remake if Black is actually available. But either way, for right now, the drafters are still available, and they're still going to keep the draft rolling, starting off with the Jakiro ban. As far as how this will play out, I think that, generally speaking, Mouse Sports are going to be the ones to start things off, and it depends on how much control they get at the first couple seconds of the fight. If Puck can get an amazing Blink, Dream Coil, Waning Rift, Batrider picks up a very key lasso target, then suddenly it's going to be all going their way. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Evil Geniuses pull to make sure that they can stabilize, because they're going to definitely rush the mech on Darkseer. That's going to be very important for them to survive through team fights. Beyond that, though, it's very hard to predict their strategy.
I'm just looking at this lineup. I mean, if EG aren't planning on grabbing Lifestealer next, I think it would definitely be in their best interest to ban out the Lifestealer, because if they're not grabbing him up, Lifestealer is pretty much a core hero. It is a very, very strong pick in those offensive Trilines. It would be great to shut down the tree, and on top of that, as we saw earlier tonight, he synergizes so well with Puck.
Mm-hmm.
Those Nakes bombs can completely shut down a game and just will lock it down for you. That said, Mouse Sports have banned Anti-Mage along with the Wisp. The Wisp ban doesn't surprise me much. They ban Wisp like every single game. They're not picking him, that's gone. First set of bans almost without question. The Anti-Mage being banned is an interesting decision. I mean, with Treant Protector, it's the kind of thing that you can almost even leave him alone in the lane with his Blink, and if you pull him the extra regen, throw in the shield, I mean, he can see us fairly effectively, and you can leave him alone there, and with Blink, you can get out of trouble. So I think that might be why they decided, you know what, we don't want to have that there. And Spectre also being banned as well. I don't really know about the Spectre ban. I think if they tried to put a Spectre in that lineup, it would crumble really quickly. Darkseer takes time to get going. Treant Protector offers nothing. If you throw a Spectre out, we saw last game, Spectre falls behind so quick. You've already got so little control in the lane with Treant Protector. If you come under even a little bit of pressure, you're going to fall apart completely. Nyx Assassin, though, being picked up by EG. Nyx, of course. Now, the question of whether or not it be support Nyx or a solo mid Nyx. I mean, mid Nyx in this case wouldn't be terrible. I think they're actually pretty good. And the thing is, unless they're going for some kind of range carry, it'd be very difficult to work Nyx into that support role with the Treant there already.
Evil Jesus had to know that Nyx was most likely what Mouse Sports were looking at here. I mean, like you said, it's a very common carry pickup for themselves when they do have Black available, and along with that, it's great in a Tri-Lane. On top of that, they picked up a Nyx Assassin who he 100% hard counters. So in that situation, Lifestealer was a no-brainer pick, but they were relatively prepared. They do have Overgrowth, which, if Lifestealer pops off Rage early, can be very, very effective in limiting his mobility and his potential to right-click. And then from there, Weaver can do more physical damage. He, obviously, with the Gemini, gets that nice little boost, and Lifestealer doesn't have much base armor. So right now, Evil Geniuses is picking up a very frustrating lineup to go up against. Survivability, survivability, survivability. Darkseer with his Surge and with an early mechanism. Treant using his honestly, every single one of his abilities is designed to keep his allies alive. Adding into that, the Spike Carapace and now Weaver with 2 great escape mechanisms, Mouse Sports is going to have a very hard time locking down anybody, even if they get the perfect initiation. In a 5 versus 5, yes, Weaver might get Nakes bombed. He might get silenced so that he can't ulti, but then suddenly there's a Surge in Darkseer. You can actually Surge in a Treant and get an Overgrowth off, or a Mechanism could come out, or so many different things to keep these guys alive. And along with that, based on this innate survivability of their entire lineup, Evil Geniuses can go for so much aggression. I've seen so many times Treant Protector plus Weaver together, Living Armor with Shikuchi, Tower Dive, all day long. I mean, you can tank up so many different shots from the tower and just shrug it off because you have such survivability, and that's not going away. So it's going to be on Mouse Sports to put the pressure out early and to get kills before EG just becomes too tanky as a whole.
I'm going to say, I don't know. I mean, sure, there's survivability, but then there's there's tree armor and spike carapace, but then there's getting Nake's bomb with a Bat Rider coming in, and then there's getting a Laguna blade to the face. I don't think they're going to stand up that well. I mean, Weaver's tough, but if he gets stunned, he's going to disappear very quickly. They've got a very, very nuke-oriented lineup. The only thing they're really lacking right now is a good setup stun for Lina if they're going for an offensive trial. I mean, they'll want something like, I mean, a Shrek would be nice, but the problem is then you've got two unreliable stuns, and obviously you don't set up with open wounds anymore. So they need something that can really set it up. A Shadow Demon is good, generally speaking, but not against the Weaver because it's a little bit trickier to set up. Because you've got to get that Light Strike array timing down absolutely picture perfect. Something with a stun like an Earthshaker would probably be an easier choice, just because you can throw the Fisher down, it sets it up straight away. But an OD is the final. Oh, that's a problem. Oh dear. Okay, if anything was going to completely flip this game on its head, it's OD, because now you've got OD in the mid versus an intelligence hero who's going to get train wrecked. By OD.
I think right now Fata's like slamming his face on his desk. Like, this is just going to be a nightmare. This is just OD, the CS master, up against an intellect hero. Has to be in this situation. There's no way you can run like the lifesteal on the mid. Like, it won't work. So he's up against an intellect hero. He's going to get the CS, and he's going to survive through trans living armor. It's just ridiculous.
All right, let's brainstorm here for a minute. All right, they've got the OD in the mid, but it's 2v1. You can still take this 2v1. I mean, OD doesn't have great range. If you threw Lina and Lifesteal in the mid together, dude, just run a dual lane. Obviously, it's not optimal, but you could be aggressive. And Tree Armor be damned. You throw enough nukes at him, he's going to go down, or he's going to have to back the hell off. It's going to create room for Lifestealer regardless.
Yeah.
And the alternative is if you put Puck in the mid, who gets absolutely destroyed, and it's not funny at all. It's not fun for Puck at all. But yeah, like you said, if Fata, Jesus Christ, he would just be slamming his face in the desk. There's no way you want to do that. Okay, so it looks like we're remaking?
I presume, yeah. They haven't said anything in the chat, but yeah, we have everybody disconnected now, but the draft has been completed, and it should be an interesting one, just kind of getting a mental snapshot of that there. We will be seeing these heroes coming up in the remade game, which will just be up in just a second, guys. So, as far as the lineups, what we're looking at here, what are you thinking as far as that goes? Right now, I think that Lifesteal Lina sounds okay, but on paper, it might not work so well because of the fact that Lifestealer's open wounds is only 200 range. That's not enough, generally speaking, to set up a Light Strike array on a range hero like OD. So, in general, I like the idea of 2 versus 1, but I don't know if they can afford it based on this draft. Generally speaking, this draft conveys to me that Mouse Sports wants to look more so into a 3-1-1 with an aggressive trial lane, and then Bat Rider can safe lane, and of course, as we were talking about, Puck could go on the mid. Ill-fated as that may be.
I wouldn't actually throw the Lina in. Their final pick was a Rubik. I would actually switch the Lina out for the Rubik because you can open up with Telekinesis, drag him out of position, and you open wounds and rage.
Sure.
And then suddenly, I mean, we saw exactly how fast Bat Rider got completely utterly wrecked by open wounds and rage in the previous game. I mean, you probably wouldn't kill him the first couple of times, but you would put so much pressure on him, he would have to back the hell down. And it'd more be zoning than anything else to slow down his farm. But that said, let me just jump back in the lobby if I can find it.
But yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's just how much zoning potential that Rubik has up against an OD. Because yeah, maybe OD will have to tango with Rubik a little bit, but he's still going to be able to steal his intellect and frustrate him completely. It will help, but by not running an aggressive trial lane, something that you highlighted on quite a bit is going to come into play, and that's living armor. That Treant will hit level 3. He'll get a rank 2 living armor and just spam. And honestly, Rubik doesn't have the damage to really. He counteract it, and he'll do a little bit damage on top of that. But a couple extra tangos will go a long way there, and suddenly, I don't know.
I think with the final Rubik, I think they're just going to stick to their guns and run. I think they're just going to stick to their guns and run the offensive trial lane. If anything, I mean, look, are you brainstorming entirely? What if they ran the offensive trial lane, put Fata and the Puck in the safe lane, and then sacrifice the middle lane, similar to sacrificing the off lane, except in this case, the shitty lane is the mid lane with the OD, and you don't want to put Bat Rider there. Bat Rider just jungles.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of ways you can throw them off and swap them up.
I mean, I'm literally just throwing shit against the wall because you don't want to put... It's so bad you don't want to have Puck in that mid. That's how bad the situation is with the draft.
Back on into it in an all-pick phase. I think based on the overlay you can't really see it here, but it's pretty much going to be them selecting it up. We'll go through the lineup real quick because we have 45 seconds before the game itself begins. So looking at Evil Geniuses, they have selected Weaver to be picked up by Synderen. unless I swap it, of course. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong. Sorry, EG. As Weaver to be picked up by Fear. Jo is going to be running on the Outworld Devour. Then we do see Universe is the one on the Darkseer. So playing possibly his kind of more signature offlane role and leaving Bambo to be the support in this case. So Nyx Assassin will be picked up by Bambo, and that leaves Treant on Beatus, support player there. So then you want to go through the Mouse Sports lineup real quick?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Mouse Sports lineup at the moment. They've got Synderen playing Lina, no surprise there. It's one of his signature heroes. Batrider being played by Quokva. Fada playing the Puck, no surprises. And it looks like Black will be playing the Nakes, and then Pass playing the Rubik. I mean, we've got to keep in mind, Mouse Sports are on the Radiant side. So, I mean, in a really bad 1v1 mid, you can, of course, just duck into the jungle and take that easy camp and stack it and farm it. And I think in this case, they'd be best suited throwing a bat mid or jungle, sort of semi-jungle, semi-mid, and then have Fada away from that lane, put him in the safe lane. Just get farmed. Because, I mean, if they get Fada farmed, like decent amount of farm, get him off to a good start, Black gets off to a good start, and then, I mean, your OD, then if you want to deal with him, well, you've Nakes bomb the shit out of him. As soon as they get that blink day, you just Nakes bomb him all day long and say, you know what, the fun stops here. Your day is ruined. We're going to eat you. But no, it's actually Black going mid.
So the question is who's supporting him and how effectively it'll be. Right now we do see Paz mostly going consumables, making his way towards the bot lane. Looks like Lina, in fact, is going to be running alongside him in the mid. Now, this doesn't mean a lot of kill potential, but it may bode better as far as the OD not just completely controlling the lane. He does have a range advantage against a Lifestealer, but Lina's actually got a decent chunk of range advantage against him. So 635 going against the OD, who of course only has 450. That is actually going to be tipping the scales in Synderen's favor, just continuing to harass, even if you're worried about uphill mischance and stuff. Just drop down a ward in the mid, an Observer ward from Lina, and you're going to have a lot more control over the creeps at the very least.
Alright, looks like, that's right. Mouse Sports always say they have problems with some of the hosts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a 50-50 chance with US East, unfortunately. There's a Virginia cluster, and I believe the other one's near New York or something. It's in New England, definitely. But in this case, they're not getting exactly what they would prefer. Generally speaking, they opt for, against EG, they're perfectly fine with going US East, guaranteed. And that's the setup there, that's the ruling for US West versus EU in general. But in this case, it does look like their pings are stacking up, and they are, in those rulings, allowed one remake to try to get the better server. But one issue, of course, is that...
I'm honestly surprised we can't pick these clusters yet.
Yeah, that is one of like 3 different features I would love Valve to implement directly. But for right now, still a little bit of lag, and we're just kind of hoping for the better. Either way, for right now, I would hate to delay it even further, but we'll see if they need to.
Should mention that they really, EG really want Jo to win this lane. He started off with an Null Talisman, and they've pulled him the 2 healing cells plus Treant Living Armor.
Okay.
I mean, between the amount of stats... Oh, wait, are they saying play? Alright, they're saying go. Never mind.
Alright.
So we're not going to do the remake. So... we'll see how this goes out, but yeah, I mean, with Batrider soloing top, I mean, Tree is going to have all the... he's going to be able to spam all the living armors that he needs in mid lane. There's no... I really doubt they're going to manage to kill Jo at this rate. Unless they do something really stupid like Rubik goes mid, then try and mid.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be completely utterly nuts. That said, if they want to sort of semi-try mid, we've got to keep in mind, Radiant side, you can pull the hard camp. So they could just... and Rubik can destroy trees, so they don't even need to tango their way through that.
Yeah.
Lina and Rubik can both do that. So, I mean, they could do something crazy like that if they wanted to. But no, it's actually going to be tri-lane bottom, maybe. Or maybe there's roaming supports, just gank all day long. We'll see.
Essentially. Yeah, a lot of pooling of regeneration. It looks like almost nobody has Tengas and Sal's of their own. To start things off, though, we're going to just see Nakes go 1v1. Lina will roam to transition when she finds the opportunity, and thinks the OD is overextending a bit. But in general, just happy to hold the line here. It might break down to a 2 versus 2, but I doubt it. Treant really wants to benefit from the neutral pulls. Same with the Nyx Assassin. Either way, for right now, boots first. Koikwa is going to be jungling it up and just avoiding that offlane altogether. And along with that, we're seeing a 2 versus 1 down bottom with the Rubik and the carry, or not carry, but farm prioritized Puck going up against Darkseer, who has also been pooled some tangos.
I mean, I think Puck almost does actually need the help here because he doesn't really have a whole lot of damage to throw out against Universe, and Darkseer is pretty tough to kill, and he can probably get quite aggressive on Puck there because Puck Puck can't threaten him with a good stun or anything. So I mean, Darkseer can probably quite happily tower dive him with Iron Shell all day as soon as that wave pushes down, and I mean he can force the waves to push fairly easily as well as spamming the Iron Shell. So I feel like he actually does need Rubik down here to help him, or he's gonna come under a lot of pressure there.
Yeah, I definitely think that's beneficial. Paz is already kind of doing work here. He was able to deny creeps that were going to die to Ion Shell. He was able to get last hits on the neutrals to avoid that as well. It's just in general, he has been kind of making his mark just with a single pull, making it so that he can get a little bit of an experience advantage, and Universe isn't going to take this lane away, which is very, very important for the Puck to be able to get to that level 6 early, because as soon as that's the case, we've seen how effective, or earlier today, how effective those Dream Coils can be, and I really think it's going to be the primary way to actually set up kills before EG just gets too darn durable, because Nake's Bombs, Blink Dagger, that's really going to be the emphasis for Mouse Sports as a whole, is going for those pickoffs.
Yeah, they really, really need to make sure he gets the farm up and running. That said, in the mid lane, I mean, right now, Black is, I mean, the extra pressure here, just the extra pressure from having Lena just skulking him out, and the fact that Jo, I mean, when he, like, we've seen a couple of times, he goes to imprison, harass Black, and then Lena just sneaks in a deny. And he's only on 9 and 3, and oddly enough, I mean, normally speaking, you see OD in the lane, generally speaking, he just wins. He just flat out wins the CS war there. But he's not. In fact, Black is 14-2. He's leading the board there. Actually, not anymore. Koikova's just jumped ahead because he's managed to kill a stack of neutrals there. But anyway. But yeah, I mean, you saw Lena there. She doesn't necessarily... I mean, this is the thing. Even, I suppose Synderen is playing on 300 ping, but that said, I mean, Lena doesn't necessarily need to set. It's better if you have the setup stun, but she can at least threaten. She can zone, she can threaten, she can get stuck in there. I mean, she lands a Light Striker away, suddenly Joe's going to take a ton of damage. And it's going to be a bit of an issue for him. That said, he's being spammed with the Living Armor, so there is that.
Yeah.
That is going to be the problem. I mean, the Living Armor spam is what's going to really prevent the kills. The Harass is going to be nothing, and when they go for the kill, it's going to block that all vital damage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, it looks like Universe is sort of being zoned out here. He's being pushed back.
I mean, right now OD is moving in towards level 5, and he still hasn't popped off one of his 2 salves. Like, there is no way that they can force him back to at least get the experience, and in many cases get the last hits, just because he is getting such a bonus from intellect. Along with that, now I was talking about the cooldown for a limiting factor on open wounds. So what about the mana? I mean, if you're continually prisoned and you don't even have the maximum mana pool to support an open wounds, then suddenly there's really no chance to get any kill potential on him, at least until we see coming on in maybe a telekinesis from a smoked Rubik or something along those lines. But for right now, status quo remains. Evil Genius is farming up mostly on the top lane, and along with that, Universe so far has had no problem on the bottom, but we do see the Silence come out. They will go for the telekinesis in conjunction with the Surge to perfectly set up this Light Striker right for the first blood. No! Universe jukes to the east, only to drop down to pause his right clicks.
I mean, yeah, obviously, it wasn't the perfect Light Striker, right, but it did exactly what it needed. Pushed him back right into their waiting, killed him, so there is that. I think right now, right now, Black's getting the farm he needs at the moment. 18-2, it's not terrible, considering he's up against the OD. I mean, he was staying ahead of the OD, now Lena's actually left lane, the OD is actually getting ahead of him, so it's her pressure there, and it's just slowing JO down a little bit. The fact he's got to watch 2 heroes at once, got to try and deal with both at once. But I mean, that does get Puck. Because right now, I think the more important equation to this factor here is not how well Black is doing the mid. Like, Black really just needs, he gets an armlet, he's kind of set. That's really, armlet and treads, he's pretty much set. The more important thing is, they've got to get the mobility on Puck. He needs the Blink Dagger. He gets the Blink Dagger on his items, then they've got everything they need for these team fights. Because, aside from the tree, they don't have a lot of team fight potential there. I mean, the problem is you've got Darkseer, it takes a while to get rolling, his wall really needs levels attached to it, and needs opposing farms so the illusions do crap loads of damage. And, yeah, that's it. Like, they've got Sandy's Eclipse in the trees, but if you load it, like, if you land the big Dream Core, you land the big Nake's Bomb and just completely obliterate Jo, he doesn't even have an opportunity to do anything. So, I mean, that takes all their team fight out. Their initiation factor is so much better on Mouse Sports' side, and I think that's going to be a really telling factor for EG come the mid-game.
Universe has now picked up the Soul Ring, and not a moment too soon. The Puck has the Dream Coil available, and that means that the Darkseer effectively can't go on the lane anymore. Might go for an Ancient Stack before falling back out. Looks like, no, he's just going to wander around that area and then head over towards the jungle, where he can kind of indefinitely sustain. You can also sit underneath his tier 1 and spam out Iron Chills, but yeah, it's not going to be nearly as effective as he would intend to be on the lane. Either way, right now, looking at current gold, we have 1820 on the Bat Rider, so he's moving in towards that blink really, really early on. Along with that, we're going to be seeing some movement with the lifesteal picking up phase boots and just staying on target there. So next bombs ahoy. That's going to be a very, very big threat very, very shortly, as soon as the lifesteal can actually de-lane and actually get some mana.
Yeah, I feel like Weaver may potentially end up regretting this this Midas he's just built, because it is going to delay a core item like the Lincoln's fairly badly, which means, well, I mean, he's so vulnerable to these bombs. Even just Batrider blinking in the lassoing, he's going to be really, really vulnerable to that. And I mean, Batrider blink lasso is not a big deal by itself, because he doesn't really have the burst damage and Weaver can just time that stuff. But when you've got a follow-up of a Light Strike Away and Laguna Blade and Dragon Slave, well, and your early item was a Midas, you are so squishy as Weaver. It's going to be so easy for them to burst him down, so that does worry me somewhat. That said, I think the majority of their attention is going to wind up focused on OD, so there is that. But we'll see how much attention he actually attracts a little bit later on. If anything is going to help him out, it's going to be the threat from Bambo, the fact that he's always going to be hanging, like the threat that he's going to be skulking about with Vendetta, trying to counter-gank them when they're trying to get mobile and roaming. I think if anything's going to scare them, it's going to be that.
Luckily for Universe, one great thing that Bambo and Beatus have been up to is stacking up the southwestern camp in the Dire Jungle. That allows him to bounce back really, really quickly. If we look at experience per minute, he's actually not that bad off. He's just behind the Lifestealer, who's been having a pretty solid time in mid lane. So in that position there, it's just he was able to go and clear a stack just as well as like the Batrider has been, and as such, feels pretty comfortable about his position. Now, I'm not sure about this Fortify necessarily. I don't think that tier 1's going to stand one way or another with the current positioning of Evil Geniuses, but if Mouz Sports wanted to defend it, they definitely kind of had their opportunity and lost it. Either way, they moved towards the mid lane, get the lasso off on Jayo, going to be able to bring him down here. He can't get the prison off. He finally does, but all he can do is Sanities before he does drop down, and he's not even going to go for that. His Fata just silences him up, and he holds on to that cooldown there. So, yes, tier 1 has fallen, the last hit going to the Weaver. But we do actually see possibly a second kill. Bambo going for the TP scroll. He will be able to get on out of there, as the Flame Break has not been skilled on Koikova.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's been jungling, so he doesn't need it that badly. But, I mean, that Blink Dagger, the mobility that Mouse Sports are going to have short is going to be extremely dangerous. I'm just looking at Puck. Puck is getting fairly close to his Blink Daggers. I mean, assuming he's going to keep his boots on, just naked brown boots, and he's just going to go straight for the Blink, because once he has that, the mobility on their side is so damn good.
No, actually, he has gone for the Tread, so that does give him a lot more mana spam. But the big thing is they do have at least one big frontline initiator. The raw Blink Dagger on Koikwa sets it up so that Black can start not only going for his amazing CS, but start going for kills, especially on a target such as Fear, who, as you mentioned, rushed to Midas before any defensive items. Black's having a bit of a rough patch in mid, but he does have the Infest available at any point in time, so doesn't feel too threatened at this stage. And if he can fall back, or actually go for the Infest and heal up, then he can go for some ganking plays. Now Jayo is in a very aggressive position, gets stunned out, silenced up as well, trying to finish off Cinder before he drops. He gets the Sanity's Eclipse off, finishes off the support Lina, but trades in that solo mid OD, which I believe Black is happy to take to the bank. An extra bit of cash in his pocket, and now he's going to be able to move in towards bigger and better items. Maybe just an armlet straight up. I mean, Phase Boots and armlet at this stage in the game is going to be a huge amount of right-click damage.
I think Synderen is sort of a little bit misplayed. I think he doesn't have boots. So I was going to say he should have backed off and run, and he would have stayed alive there. But without boots, oh wow, bottom lane, Fear going to get an easy kill here.
No, he
might have got Shikuchi. Oh, there you go.
Wow, pause, stealing up the Shikuchi. Couldn't have hit level 6 a moment too soon. Even has a salve. He's safe under the tower. Perfect time to spell steal. He keeps himself up and at him. We do see a miss out, however, on the mid lane. There was a roaming gank. Nick's assassin.
Wow, he got to get the kill. He gets the kill on Weaver.
Are you kidding me? I can't even imagine how that happened. What did he do?
Weaver came back. I didn't realize he thought Paz had gone back to base, I think. But no, he comes back to CS a couple of creep. Paz jumps out, gets him with telekinesis, picks up, dumps him to the tower, and then slams him with a Fade Bolt. Done deal.
Wow.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
That is ridiculous right there. Now, unfortunately, on mid lane, that is the trade out for their carry for carry essentially. The Lifestealer didn't have Infest, didn't have any real survivability in that situation, so those two together obviously getting picked off.
Lane gang.
Yep, Jo gonna get lassoed up and just cooldown to cooldown Batrider, enabling them to put huge amounts of pressure out. This OD has seen a lot of the battle, but unfortunately picked up a few more scars than dishing them out. 2, 3, and 0 is his ending KDA, and this Tier 1 tower should be forfeit as a result as well. So, yeah, interesting back and forth. I really wish I saw that Rubik kill. Like, that has to have been something. Like, the Shikuchi steal in general is great. It's an amazing spell for Weaver. We actually see Black going on in. Surge out, though, Vanvo will be perfectly fine. But no, that Rubik play, I mean, a level 6 Rubik soloing a Weaver under his own tower, yeah, that is definitely something.
Yeah, not something you see every day. Now the mass port's coming in mid, though. Looks like the tower is going to stand a little bit longer. Of course, Tree being Tree, just healing it up. Black now. Looks like Black's actually going to go for drums first. He has picked up his bracer instead, so he's just going to try and get a little bit more mobility here. And of course, it does give him some nice stats too. It looks like Jo is actually trying to do Roshan.
He has Treant.
Yeah,
don't underestimate the Treant, and that's pure damage as well, so not mitigated by Roshan's massive magical damage mitigation. Jo can honestly do it as long as his Sanity Clips keeps his mana pool full. And there he is, of course, getting some help, but here comes on Rubik. He is going to be able to dish out a lot of damage. Laguna and Fade Bolt. Lightning's everywhere. And that's going to be able to bring him down quickly. Pause. Unfortunately for him, stole Leech Seed. And that means he's just going to get dropped down here. Now, it is going to be a nice coil coming in from Fata, but they can't actually get kills out of this. They're just going to go on the escape, and Fata can't even find high ground with his Ethereal Jaunt. So, instead, I believe EG is just going to go right back to it with Roshan. I mean, I guess he is pretty high HP, and it was a bit of a cheeky play just going in when it's so early in the game. Either way, nice little maneuver by Mousesports disrupting it, but they do lose the Rubik in the end.
I think it was a mistake to try and ship blast Tree. I think they sort of panicked. They saw Tree and said, holy crap, what if he overgrows? But I think he's only level 5, so he doesn't actually have that there. So, I mean, Tree in that fight literally had nothing to offer. He was already spamming Living Armor, so he's got level 2 lead sheet, and that's it. They could have they could have spent the Laguna Blade completely blasting Outlaw Devourer into pieces, or Fear or something more important, but saw Tree and panicked. Either way, they were free killing them. Unfortunately, lost Rubik in return, though. I mean, Rubik... The problem is losing Rubik, more so than Tree, really, really badly needs that mobility. Like, if he wants to get those wicked spell steals off, and I mean, he's all about those spells. If he really wants to get those wicked spell steals off, he needs mobility. At least needs something like a 4-staff. But if he gets getting picked off like this in some of these early fights, it's going to be a bit of a problem for him.
Yeah. Shikuchi or Surge Steals will definitely help him out a little bit, but in general, he's just swapping out so many spells so frequently that it's very difficult. Like, right there, obviously he picked up the Leech Seed, but his main intention was to pick up the Living Armor, so he could just walk away from the fight and then just give this huge advantage and utility to his team as a whole. So it would have been a great steal, but in that situation, he got dropped down. He didn't have enough mobility, survivability, whatever, and that is a pretty big loss on their part. But it would have been bigger if they didn't actually happen upon the Roshan engagement, and that went the way of the EG.
And, you know, worst comes to worst, at least they did stop the Roshan attempt. Should mention that that tower, already above 50% health in the mid, considering that was almost in deny range earlier. It's a pretty big change there, but it looks like Tree has actually got some items at last. Of course, he was wandering around Crypt Nothing before. Has decided just, imprisonment mid? No, they're not going to follow up on that, just being aggravating. Bottom lane, though. Here comes Batrider, Surge comes up, Blink, and Lasso back into the Firefly. Passo needs to be careful. Doesn't want to get caught out here. Going to telekinesis, that'll be enough to bring him down easily enough.
Dude.
Lena also coming back in, but she is very, very low on mana. Needs to back off and get some back.
Be careful. I mean, Paz in that situation, he got Vendetta ganked by a surged Iron Shield Nyx Assassin. He barely Shikuchi out of it just in time. He actually Shikuchi'd when the Impale was flying at him. Just perfect reflexes from Paz. And he would have absolutely died if he had been in the range of Iron Shell a second longer, or just didn't actually had Shikuchi after the stun. So perfect movement from Paz, survived against all odds there, and yeah, he just continues to play this Rubik amazingly well. So yeah, when they lost Kurokai, they lost a very, very powerful Rubik player, but we see Paz still kind of living true to the Mousesports name with this hero, keeping that legend intact. That is just an amazing Dota coming out of him, and it's going to get even better as the ultimates start flying.
Well, looks like Vara has managed to pick up his mech, and he's also just about to get level 11 as well, which means level 2 Sanity Eclipse. Top lane, though, Weaver gets picked off. There's your Nakes Bomb. There is your Nakes Bomb indeed, getting blasted, and that Blink Dagger is up and running on Puck, so he's going to cause all sorts of havoc. And I mean, if you think it's bad for Weaver, I really feel like he's going to regret this Hand of Midas. It's going to leave him so squishy. Living Armor or no, and Leech Seed and all that shenanigans. I think he's going to be so easy to burst down, but I think it's going to be bad for him. I mean, they've already been making JO's life miserable. They're going to jump all over him some more. I mean, right now, Just checking the gold graph here at the moment. It's pretty even at the moment. Only a little bit in favor of the Radiant side. Looks like Puck is about... Oh, maybe not.
Blink.
Can he blink? No, it's on cooldown. Oh, no, gets it knocked off. Doesn't quite blink in time. And OD managed to hurt Puck there.
Getting some killing spree gold as well. Good position there. They're just trying to put in a little damage on the tier 1, but didn't see the Nyx coming to start things off, and the follow-through was great from OD's TP. So Jo getting a nice little kill for himself, and moving him back to his next big item. He already has that mechanism, but could really, really use a Force Staff to make sure that he can kite out the Lifestealer effectively. Now, they're kind of keeping up, moving on forward. Interestingly enough, though, Darkseer going with an Ultimate Orb. What do you think about that? Do you think that's going to be like a Linken's? I guess that has to be, but it's just really weird.
I'd say just a fast Hex.
I could just rush that.
I mean, Linken's, what's it going to do for him, really? I mean, sure, you lasso, there's a couple of annoying spells, but I think in this case, they want aggression. They want to be able to shut down. If Puck nakes bombs, I mean, they want to be able to hex him. If Batrider jumps in and lassos, they want to hex him. They want to stop that mobility, and I think the hex in this case going to be more important.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's one of the things, like, right now, they've got a couple of good CCs. I mean, they've got Overgrowth, but they don't have the instant, like, all those heroes there have some kind of disable or lockdown on the Radiant side, whereas not the same can't be said for EG. I mean, sure, you've got Astral Imprisonment, which is nice, but you can't damage the sucker while he's doing that. Although top lane, Fatter in a lot of trouble. Impale, Mana Burn, and he will get caught out. And this is it. This is the Nyx Assassin catching them out time and time again. Black also going to hang back there. This is going to be the biggest issue, getting ganked here by Bambo. I think this is going to be a bit of a problem for him.
It's just one of the things that makes Nyx Assassin such a strong support is his ability to just continuously put out pressure, and if you're not willing to pay that support tax and drop down some sentries, he's going to find openings over and over again. He puts Blink Daggers on cooldown, he gets a huge amount of mana burn damage up against this Puck. I mean, Fata, a great Puck player, but this intellect thing is hurting him more and more. The mana burn hurts him, the I Will Devour aspect hurts him. It's just not been his game based on just that hero draft. And so in this position here, Evil Geniuses is putting out a heck of a lot of pressure here. Nyx Assassin 1-0 and 3, and that's only going to get higher and higher. As such, Fear moves in towards his Linken Sphere, and yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. Weird to see a Scythe before Boots' speed is upgraded to tier 2, but definitely possible given his item choice and his relative GPM. I mean, he's sitting at 261. It'll take a while. It's such an expensive item, but I could see it actually working for them once he does complete it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you look at their lineup. I mean, the only other thing that he might really want to rush is a Pipe. I mean, Pipe would actually be really good against that lineup. He's got a burst from Puck, from Lena. Even Rubik's got a bit to throw in there as well. I mean, Pipe would be really good, but if you want aggression, well, you don't need the mech. You don't need to rush the mech because OD's already building it. So we'll see what he's going to go for. But I'm willing to bet my money on it that it is going to be a Scythe. Just because, I mean, you can't have too many hexes on a team. It's just simple as that. And when you're up against something really irritating and hard to lock down like Puck, I mean, Scythe is so damn good. Because you just need to keep him still for a couple of seconds. He's really squishy. If you stop him from dancing about, he will die very, very quickly.
Absolutely. So, will be a very, very important pickup when he gets it, but for right now, they're biding their time. They're getting a lot of advantage out of this Midas, and every minute that kill passes by that a kill doesn't come on through is actually a really good one for them. Now, under the tower, he can go for an Overgrowth, but knows that Black has Rage. There's that Rage, there's the Overgrowth coming on through, and Paz has already blown his spell steal. Now coming on in, Puck will be able to finish him off. No, nice Prison coming in to keep the Treant alive. He is going to stay up and kick and beat his, even getting mech'd before he's able to walk on away, and that was a lot of aggression, but nothing really happening for them as they, like I said, they're just such a great defensive team.
I really think that was a misplay by Lifesteal. Diving under the tower like that, like, he had to know that BDS was going to hold on to Overgrowth until he raged to lock him down. And the thing is that was going to keep him there for pretty much his entire rage. And then what happens if they decide not to save Tree? Because, I mean, it's Tree. I really feel like they should have said, you know, screw you, Tree, bugger you can die. And didn't just gone and chase down Lifestealer and killed him. Because, I mean, Nyx comes out of there, you imprison Lifestealer and lock him down for a few seconds, everybody moves in. He's going to die. Like, you're going to just drop sanities in his face and blow him to pieces. Yeah. And, to be honest, I think they should just let BDS go.
Yeah,
so
but
what if he dies? I mean, you Tree, you just need to Overgrowth, you've done your job. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, Park, that mana burn, Jesus, look at that damage.
Yeah, and that's not just HP, that's mana that he doesn't have available. Of course, the Magic Wand will give him one spell, but Not what he needs. He needs to stay up and active and have a full complement of spells if he's going to be able to commit to a full team fight. Now, the reason the Lifesteal raged there underneath the tier 2 is he was afraid of the prison. If he did get offensively prison, they could have repositioned and just completely destroyed him. But the fact is, Black didn't need to be in that position at all. And I guess there might have been some miscommunication of when the puck was coming in to actually try to punish the Treant. Either way, in that spot, EG is able to hold the line, keep themselves up, and move in towards that next set of items. Lincoln Sphere up on Fear. That means that he doesn't have to be afraid of an instantaneous lasso from Quaikwa. He can still go ahead and blink him and then force him, and that will pop the Lincolns, and then he's open up to lasso. But that should be enough time that unless Mouz Sports has a Gem of True Sight, that the Weaver should be able to Shikuchi on out or time-lapse away.
I think the bigger issue, issue for him will be if they do have some sort of long range thing to block or just nullify the Lincolns. I mean, Spellsteel's got a pretty long range. They could quite easily knock the Lincolns off as he blinks with that, I think. It's always a possibility for them there. But yeah, this bottom line, Jesus, Puck. I mean, this Nyx is completely ruining him. Can't really do a whole lot with that at all. Do we know what we paused for there?
Yeah, just said they need a second, so I'm not too sure. EG seems to be ready, though, and Mouz Sports are just awaiting their opportunity to get back on into it. So, right now, at this state in the game, we do see that there is a substantial gold advantage going for Mouz Sports. Of course, they do have kills, they do have, generally speaking, CS advantage, and have had more control over the map with the towers. That leads to almost 2,500 as far as gold goes, and then towards 3,000 as far as experience advantage goes. But, that being said, EG have been moving in towards the later stages of the game with this Lincoln Sphere pickup, and if they do manage the Scythe, which is only, I say only, it's a full 25 away, that's going to 2,400 gold away, is going to be taking them a while to finish it off. So, at this stage, who do you think is going to take the game? It's only 20.5 minutes, it's pretty early to tell, but in your opinion, who has the advantage?
I think I really feel the only thing really letting Mouz Sports down here is the fact they don't have a hero who can push the towers really hard. I feel like they can force the fights. They can quite easily force the 5v5s and try and take out EG, but the problem is with forcing these 5v5s is they don't have the really good push. And when you force a 5v5, I mean, there's always a potential for things to backfire. You're up against a vacuum, overgrowth, standing skills. I mean, in a perfect world, if they get a perfect counter attack off, they could quite easily drop a whole bunch of Mouz Sports line. And I think that bothers them somewhat. Also, every time they push, they also expose themselves a lot to Nyx as well. I think Nyx rather, as well as kind of bothering them. But if they let this go to late game, I think they're buggered. I think they're screwed. I mean, I don't see them winning a late game against a farm OD and Weaver with just a lifestealer who's, he's good, but he's not that good.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to go for another Roche attempt, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't go for Medallion and Weaver or anything, so it is going to take a little while, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be possible. And fortunately for them, Mouz Sports doesn't have a way of really easily scouting this out. They would have to throw an Illusory Orb, and Fata is pushing up on the top lane. So from here, we're actually going to see them most likely take it down in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I mean, they must be worried about something, because right now they notice, well, everybody's missing. Something's got to be wrong here. But that said, I guess they're more worried about the counter game. See, they're looking for someone skulking behind the tower, expecting to get into a fight over here. Not really going to find it because, of course, everybody's rushing. They're going to pick that up in a second. Then they're going to realize exactly what's going on. But they should get this tier 1. It's nice, but the Roshan definitely more valuable there. Meanwhile, they can just counter push down to the bottom lane. Fear already getting that lane rolling. They can all head down there if they want to and start pushing towards that tier 1 bottom. In fact, that's where they're going. They're all going to go push the tier 1 bottom tower and just trade. They might end up trading for a tier 2 top, though, which may not be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
We'll see. They might need to put some people back there.
The mental intensity there was just very, very visible. The fact that they dropped on the center, waiting for Nyx's out and just show up for a second, maybe something that's nature guised up. They wanted to find a pickoff. They wanted just one quick opportunity to nab the beginning of the fight, and from there they could follow through with just about everything. Mouz Sports has the tools to 5v5. They were ready for a fight, but it wasn't there. The Geniuses just opt for Smoke Roshan, and that sets them up much more nicely. Now, we do see transition. Very delayed TP. Treant Protector going to head up top. Not going to be fast enough to save this tower here, but they're going to try to go for it anyways. Right now, Lena gets the last on the tower, but Universe jumping in to do a lot of damage to Cinder and lift up. Telekinesis is gone. Oh my gosh, so much damage coming out. They're going to be able to finish off Jo. He's going to come back in just a few seconds with that Aegis Immortal Black, doing a lot of damage to Fear. Pause, stealing up the Overgrowth, doing so much, but the time lapse does keep Weaver up and kicking Jo. However, will drop down right after dropping the hammer himself. Does get a prison on out onto Black, but it's not delaying their pursuit. Betas will fall. They might even get one more out of it. Nice flame break, pushing them all back, and Bambo, without a carapace, is going to run out of life. No, oh, no, actually, he gets on out of there. The Impale was really, really good, and along with that, the Black just overextended a little bit too far. They mana burned him. They brought him down. And now it's anybody's engagement. Right now, Fear, Lingus pops off. Pops off with Midas, pops off the Shikuchi, going on through here. I'm not sure about their detection status. Trying to bait him underneath the Sentry Ward. They telekinesis him. They light striker him. They might be able to finish it off right here. But Fear is going deep for Fata. There is that phase shift. Uses it at the last second. Blinks away. Fear still on the run. Shikuchi active, but they cannot dust him. He gets his time lapse back off cooldown, and he is fearless. Bambo with Ion Shell Surge, trying to find one more kill. It's going to be on Cinder in here, getting the Impale off. Fata will TP on out of here, and that might be the end. Pause, Shikuchiing away, but he is very far away as far as mana for that TP scroll, and Bambo is on the hunt.
I think he's about to regret doing this, and there we go, spotted up by Bugs. Oh wait, no, he's got another Shikuchi to throw at the Overgrowth. Doesn't hit the invisible target though. However, he's got another Shikuchi that's going to keep running. Runs past a ward though. We'll spot him up, and now it looks like he's going to die here. Oh no, another Shikuchi's up and earns himself. They just can't catch him, but he's got a Shikuchi once again. Just gonna keep running. Oh, just going to go for the TP. Should be able to get away here. Yes. Oh no, in prison. Oh, all that work for nothing.
It's still fun to watch. That was some Yakety Sack moment right there. That was very, very interesting indeed. Rubik just using Shikuchi over and over and over, just walks right past the Sentry, takes a few hits, but barely enough mana. Either way, having some fun, going in and out, but in the end he does not get out of there with the OD just barely getting in the right position to nullify that escape. Either way, as far as kills go, there was a lot of back and forth. The experience going back the way of Evil Geniuses. I don't know. Who do you think came out more on top in that?
To be honest, overall, I think the Radiant is still leading fairly heavily, but that was a pretty good counter. I mean, to be fair, Mousesports did overextend there, and they got punished for it. So in the end, EG did get something nice out of it, but you lost the tower out there, lost the Aegis, lost the fight fairly convincingly. I think that's just a bit of a good sign. The fact that their initiation value is not great. It would have been really good, except unfortunately they let Rubik managed to get the steal off on. They let Rubik manage to get the steal off on the Overgrowth, which completely set them up for the counterattack there. And now Rubik has the Blink Dagger. Well, he is so mobile, it's not funny now. So this is going to be very difficult to keep these spells off him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think their team fight potential on the Mousesports side is still a lot better, especially with the initiation value.
I mean, this is a level 8 Treant Protector. He's not tanky at all. He can't go in too deep, so he has to wait. But by waiting, he's predictable in when he decides to come out and use his ultimate. And that's what every single time Paz is going to be waiting for. He has his Blink Dagger. He has more Overgrowth initiation potential than the Treant himself. And that means that Roof Trolling is going to have to be very conscious about how he uses his abilities. That Overgrowth set everything up perfectly, as well as the nukes. Now we do see the fight engaging once more. There's going to be an Overgrowth, log him down. Big Sands Eclipse. Oh my gosh, that Vacuum Wall replica as well. They do get some damage onto Jail, but not enough to finish him off with Black on the retreat. 3 seconds on Batrider's Blink, but no, he is falling back out of here. The pursuit is on top of the Weaver, but he might actually be able to finish off Black. No. He has that armlet toggle, and the illusions aren't going to be able to bring him low enough for Weaver to feel comfortable about that. So, end result, the last kill goes Fata picking off Jo underneath his tier 2. I knew somebody was going to blink on him. He was just too low to let him walk away like that. So they do get the blink, they do get the kill, they get the tier 1 as well, and things are looking up for them.
Probably going to get a tier 2 as well at this rate. I'm not sure if it was intentional, but Pass picked up Mana Burn there. I think he might have been looking for the Impale, wasn't ready to wait for the Overgrowth, or realised he might have missed the Overgrowth. Didn't go for it either way. But the Mana Burn, I mean, I'm going to say the OD would have actually died a lot sooner. Except he got lucky. The Flame Break didn't quite snap the Dream Coil. He was really inches away from snapping. That snap would have killed him, plus he stayed alive for just long enough to pop the mech as well. Meanwhile, though, counterattack on the bottom line, Passo just going to port out. Looks like he's just going to hang on to that Mana Burn. They're not too worried about switching it out just yet.
Yeah, they really want to bring him down. They knew exactly where he was, but just too little too late, unfortunately. Now some big pickups coming out for Mousesports. Fata picks up a Black King Bar. Same thing for Batrider. They actually have a very similar item set. Of course, 4 staff extra on the Bat. It's really, really nice. But in general, the Puck being able to jump in like he has been, but adding on a Black King Bar to either get out of the roots or just to make sure that he doesn't have to worry about so much magic damage coming on in from the Sanity's Eclipse and so on and so forth. It's just actually really, really good for them to not only aggressively team fight like they have been, but to not really be punished for it.
I think that's the other thing is the fact that the other thing that's really helped out is the fact that he doesn't immediately lose all of his mana and mana, but it looks like Universe about to get picked off. There's not much you can do there. Waiting Rift and then double damage on top of Black just eating him up. Nothing you can do at all. This tower also, this tier 2 mid is probably forfeit as well. Although that's so I said that about the tier 2 bottom tower and they decided not to push it. But now they are really stacking on the damage on the tier 2 mid. And it looks like the Dire team not really mustering to defend it. Batrider just scouting out ahead with the Firefly. See what's going on uphill there. Not really a whole lot happening though. The counter push is on the bottom lane. Fear just going to keep pushing that bottom lane as well as the tree just skulking. They've both got ports so they can come back and help out. But it looks like at the moment that's not their plan. There we go. They're porting. But Tree's porting back now. Fear, not so much yet. He's still waiting. He's just going to continue counter pushing bottom lane.
Until the team is in position to actually start the initiation, there's no real reason for him to TP. They made sure that they TP in the base rather than to the tower, so that allows him to jump into the front lines with only the 3-second channel delay. Now popping off the fortification, it looks like EVG has to react fit quickly, but Batrider starting it off, going on Bambo. Will there even be a Carapace? No! Bursting him down hard. Jo is going to prison himself just to stay up, and there's that BKB. Can't even vacuum together. Universe taking a lot of damage here. Perfect Light Strike Ray. Jo getting annihilated. Just has to drop the Sanity's Eclipse and run.
What the hell was that route?
Wow, Beatus getting the Overgrowth out, but not doing anything with it. And now, with an Infest taking them away, they're actually going to be able to just get on out of here, no problem at all. The puck does drop low indeed, but goes ahead and just phase blinks on out of there. And they take down the Nyx. They just force a lot, but they're able to walk away.
Nyx now picks up a Desert. That's going to make... Wow, if he can get on top of Outlaw Devour, he's going to fall apart really, really quickly. I'm going to say, though, Beat is not the best routes there at all. Completely whiffed it. Meanwhile, the top lane...
He doesn't have...
Darcy gets picked off. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch indeed. Who's that in prison there? As it looks like they are going to pop a Lincoln's there. Spell still, what did he get? He managed to pick up his own set of bugs. It was Black who got imprisoned there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, the pressure back onto the mid tower, trying to heal it up desperately. Weaver though, also picks up a Desolator. Again, really going to help out. Lifestealer himself also doesn't have a lot of armor, but that said, he's going to rage up there and continue beating away on the tower. Pogaba jumps in there, but gets imprisoned. Couldn't quite get within lasso range, and now the stun comes out, going to catch him out there. He will get bursted down very quickly, but the tier 3 tower in mid is forfeit.
Yeah, they needed that pretty badly. They did not want to buy back on the Darkseer. He technically had it, but there's no way that he saved up this much gold for Scythe of Ice, and he was going to let that money slip through his fingers. So Darkseer does come back, and it means that that's a pick-off up on top with the Dream Coil was not as costly as it could have been, because without the Wall of Replica, they actually lack a ton of team fights. So the fact that Quaikwa kind of initiated for EG, it was just so fortuitous for them. Roche will be respawning in less than 30 seconds, and we're going to be seeing them coming on in to try to take it down here. So they smoke on up, they get in the right position. Fear doing a little bit of pushing on the mid lane, but they will be going for this Roche. They have the Desolator. They have so much negative armor. What are they? I'm not sure. I guess they want to flank to gank because they know that Mouseforce is going to try to prevent them from accomplishing this.
And then you can see them too. They can spot them up, and this time around they know there isn't a Nakes bomb waiting to greet them. If they can just... Oh, puck! They've got a gem, I think. They jump in on top of Weaver. Weaver gets Salsa, though. Actually goes a little bit too far. They're on the wrong side of the hill. Now Jarrow, though, getting picked on, though, by the lasso. Trying to get away. Hits him by the flame break. He's hasted up, though. He's fleeing for his life. More star forwards. Can they finish him? Although Pass doesn't get a lockdown there, and he will imprison himself. Looks like he should be able to get away. The Sanity's Eclipse does get bursted down, though. Waiting Rip to finish the job. They've lost Batrider, but Nyx is down. Weaver's down. OD is down. Life Strike away. Beat is no threat at all, but you know what? Why not beat him up some more? Just to make it, just to really rub it in there. Anyway, buyback there from Weaver. That's a lot of gold down the tube. Get the buyback, and even then, I don't think he can defend the mid racks. OD has to come back if they want to hope of that, and he does not have buyback at all. He does have his Black King. Oh no, he bought up a recipe there. Still needs another 1300 gold there, but they are going to lose the mid racks here.
Yeah,
unless
definitely.
Tree can do some amazing. Oh no, Overgrowth's even on cooldown still. 25 seconds. Yeah. That's gone. That's gone. No way they're saving this.
Yeah, Weaver can delay it, but he can't do anything by himself, and this is just very, very difficult for them in this position here. I mean, that initiation, they got the wall and the vacuum, they were really good. The overgrowth was solid too, because it meant that they couldn't burst down the lasso target, based on the fact that they couldn't auto-attack. But in general, just Mousesports have just brought so much more to the table each and every fight, and popping up BKBs, using their ultimates to such great effect. there's just not too much hope. And this is another time where Jo has not been able to get a great Eclipse off. This is like his third fight consecutively where the ultimate is either not used at all or is at the very last second because he's going to die anyways. And so with that, you're not getting these 4 or 5 man ultimates to do a ton of damage. Without that damage, there's no way that you can get these kills.
Yeah, I totally agree there. It's just really just haven't had the opportunity. I mean, it's just right now they don't have the setup. Although that said, maybe they could find a bit of extra setup there once the scythe is done. It is 300 gold away from picking that up. Unfortunately, Outworld Devourer is not able to go for his own one just yet. Has felt like he needs to do the BKB burst. However, it looks like EG have decided, alright, no more shenanigans. Let's just take Roshan. That said, though, I mean, Mousespot's probably getting suspicious. Right now, they're going to see, well, bottom lane, obviously, missing, not the big deal, but top lane, nothing there. Mid lane, nothing there. They're either going to assume that they're doing Roshan or they're all in the jungle. And there we go. See, they get suspicious, but it's going to be too late there as they will manage to pick him off there. Roshan gets taken out, and they give the Aegis there to Weaver, which I'm not sure. I think that might have just been done because he was close enough and they're worried about steal. Fatter, though, taking a lot of damage there from Weaver. Will back off.
There's a couple reasons why it could be that they decided to put it up on Weaver. Maybe just the intensity of the moment he had to. But another factor is that OD, and if the fight broke out right then, he didn't have his Eclipse. So all he is just raw right clicks, and Mouse has shown time and time again they have the ability to deal with that. So Jo getting the Aegis, it would have been used because they focused him over and over. But whether or not it would actually have turned the fight around is another question entirely. Whereas Fear, he has been very, very effective in the fights, but he wants to play even more aggressively. He wants to jump in and not be afraid that suddenly a waning rift means his death. So the Aegis definitely helps him out with that, but we'll see if it's enough. Anyways, right now, items coming out. Boots of Travel's coming up for the Bat Rider. More mobility, more potential to pull people out of position. Along with that, the Scythe of Ice. Well, I would call it a rush, but you know, when you rush an item as your first core item and 35 minutes and you pick it up, can't really call it that. So Universe finally gets his item of relevancy. We'll see how effectively he can use it.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, but it may not swing the... I mean, it's not going to swing the battle on its own. That said, it might be able to get the lockdown of key heroes, though. We'll see. Meanwhile, I think Tree's is saving for a Blink Dagger so we can get some actual mobility and actually try and set up a little bit better there with those roots.
Dire has no buyback. They cannot lose this fight.
Speaking of losing this fight, I mean, that's pretty much a lost cause. Although the roots go down, this might be what they need there. Dragon Slave goes through as well. But now, here comes the pick on Jo. Jo goes down. Waning Rift as well. Fear's all silenced up. Can he get away here? Might be able to... Oh, the time lapse is there. Gets hit by the Light Strike Array, though. Gonna Shikuchi forward. Puck. Gonna phase shift out. He's gonna do one more hit. He goes down. The counterattack is in. They also picked off Nakes. Nakes has to buy back. And with Puck down and Nakes, this might actually be what they need to hold.
Yeah, this
is... The Weaver was enough. I mean, I'm guessing... I think they managed to scythe up Nakes because it's what brought him down there.
Yeah, that definitely helped them secure that and nullify some of the damage output. It definitely was a fight they had to win, like I said, but... I don't know. They're still in such a bad spot with the racks pushed in. If they do make it to the late game, if they do turn this around... then this is the fight that'll start it off. We're going to see Experience and Gold leveling out rather than constantly going in favor of Mouse Sports, and they are going to start making things happen. They rushed a Blink Dagger on Treant. I think they might have even sold like a Bracer or something else to actually pick it up. But BDiz now does have that available, and as such is going to be able to initiate very effectively, or at least effectively as a Treant can, up against a Lifestealer and 2 BKB'd core heroes. So he's going to jump on in, he's going to do what he can, but OD needs something else as well. He's going in for a BKB, going for the casual Ultimate Orb, and looking for a magic immunity of his own.
Yes, you grab that up there, but it looks like... What have we got here on Nakes? Nakes on Stesso, he's pretty much same stuff there. Meanwhile, though, looks like there is OD working on his own... Actually, no. Oh yeah, sorry, he's working as BKB there. He picked the old mob, changed his mind there, but I mean, yeah, Tree with the Blink's going to help out a lot now. Nyx as well. I mean, they've actually got some pretty decent initiation now between Tree as well as Nyx. They can get in there with the stuns early on and open the fight up. That's going to be the big deal for them there. Something that does bother me a little bit is that Lifestealer is quite vulnerable to be getting kited by Weaver. He has no real way to keep Weaver in place, and that bothers me quite a lot. So, I mean, as long as you have a couple of like stunners with him, it's going to be so hard so hard to get to groups with Weaver, and they're just going to be able to harass people non-stop all day.
Blink Initiation on a Universe. They're going to start this off really, really well. The scythe does come on through, but they get the last off on Jayo as well. He's going to have to prison himself. Doesn't even get the chance. Just gets shredded. And now Fear popping off that BKB. Will be able to get on out of there, but he has to do some damage hard. Starts it off by bringing down the Lina. Isn't going to be enough. No, Overgrowth Steel just gets shredded. Oh my goodness. Fear is lifted on up. He still has that Aegis. He's going to have to use it. Oh, brings down Fanta. No, phase shift. Perfect phase shift. John's away. Beat is not able to get the leech seed. Blinks after him. Doesn't have the mana to finish him off. Fear on the run now is going to go in time lapse back to the north. Oh, that's not a good HP pool to be sitting on, but it is going to be sufficient to get him on out just based on the position there. So, yeah, they do get the Weaver out, but they don't even get the Puck. Like, Fata, so close. The tree's hand was raised, and Puck blinks out from under his nose, and the Blink Pursuit only cost him the mana he needed to actually finish the job. So, Puck survives, now getting a ton of HP back safe and sound, and, yeah, is going to be able to do a lot, counter pushing down on bottom while they take the top here. Now, they do still have Sandy's Eclipse. They could try to hold this. Actually, I don't think that Mouz should even stand here to try to force the issue, but, yeah, still, EG taking losses left and right.
Yeah, I mean, Mouse Sport's making the right call there and backing off and just deciding, all right, don't need to try and push this badly. Let's just back off and make sure we don't get wiped here. Because, of course, Puck, big part of the game plan is bottom farming as he picks up a very large wave of creep there. Getting closer to his own Hex, in fact. He's almost got enough for the Mystic stuff as well. Looks like, speaking of which, OD, Snow still doesn't make up his mind at all. Looks like Bambo might be building his own Argonums or either. I mean, they could be Argonums, that could be BKB, we'll see. That Ogre Club there. I mean, either one of them would suit him quite well. Looks like the Radiant, though, kind of happy to farm their own jungle. That said, the Dire, they want to charge in there and cause a mess. They've all smoked up. Looks like they want to smoke gank the enemy jungle.
Yeah. They, I mean, right now they have to do something. The initiations so far from Mouse Sports have been impeccable. Whether Batrider gets the lasso off perfect time, or in that last case, the Puck blinking in and starting things off with his own array of abilities. Now Bambo smoked in, Vendetta in, is under the gem. The smoke expels immediately. Fada coming on in, trying to clean something up. Pause blinking, fourthing, and they do get the Dream Coil. They get the Telekinesis, lifting him up. They try to force him out. Jayo still taking a lot here. Actually, they intentionally broke the tether. Either way, Jayo will fall, while the rest run for the hills here. And yes, that was Mouse Sports 4-staff, I believe. Yeah, OD doesn't have one, and nobody else was in range, so they intentionally broke their own tether to make sure that they could secure the kill on that OD.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It was a smart play. Set that fight up, blew it wide open. And now, Jayo going to be cursing getting caught out like that. I mean, that's a big danger there, leaving your carrier alone up front and just got picked off so easily. Meanwhile, though, Tier 2 tower from the bottom lane, likely to get taken out here. And now we don't have any glyphs available. OD's still down for 30 seconds. I get the feeling that Mouse Sports might be even more aggressive than before.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, EG, we're looking for a pickoff because they can't fight 5v5. They know that Rubik stole Overgrowth as his last fight, and still has it up for another minute or so. So in this position here, they didn't want it to come to this, defending the Tier 3 up against a guaranteed enemy Blink Overgrowth. But here it is, and we're going to see if they can hold the line down on the bottom racks, or if this is going to be GG right here. Melee falling very quickly. And Batrider looking for an opportunity, finds out onto Universe, is going to go, and there's a Waning Rift going across as well. Paz gets an okay Overgrowth onto Weaver. He time lapses out. Beat is picked on up, dropped on Dan Bambo as well. Triple kill for Black in a matter of seconds. Munching on down on Fear. There's the Scythe of Vice to bring down Jayo, and just few right clicks. Ultra kill. Is it going to be a rampage here? No, too much damage. Puck cleans it up, and there's the GG. Well played. Mouse Sports taking this game away. Goodness, that's a heck of a lot of damage from that it's not even negative 11 armor, it's actually negative 12 now, with the Desolator having been buffed, and that's just corroding on through their armor and incinerating them quickly. So, nice movements from Mouse Sports. This game has been going their way for a decent period of time, and now they seal the deal here with that last amazing team fight.
Well, yeah, it looks like that was the deal. I mean, they got ahead of the OD, was just basically get Puck away from the OD, and it worked out with a dual mid there. Didn't completely, I mean, it didn't shut him down, but Black actually got reasonably farmed, got his armlet out on time. It wasn't that bad. Cideron obviously didn't have a huge impact in the early game, but that's alright. I mean, the key was to get the mobility. They needed Puck to get mobile, they needed Batrider to get mobile, and they got the farm prioritized of both those heroes, and once they got mobile, they completely shut EG down.
Absolutely. One sub story for EG a little bit is Universe's situation. Down the bottom, the Rubik pause was really locking him down hard as far as just controlling the lane with pulling and CSing against the Ion Shell and such. He did a really good job there. As well, he survived a number of attempted kills from Darkseer, just very, very narrowly. So Darkseer didn't end up finding any kills at all. He's had 0, 8, and 6, and at the end of a 42-minute game, he didn't even have his third point in Wall of Replica. He couldn't. He was only level 15. So just a really, really raw situation for them, and yeah, that was Teamfight presence they desperately needed. Instead, they go with the mechanism on OD, and they don't have a pipe or anything else to deal with all that damage. So, good game, well played in Mouse Sports. They just, yeah, after a bit of a interesting laning phase, go on forward to just take this one away. So, very, very nicely done. Thank you guys so much for tuning on into this match here. We're actually going to have a really, really awesome matchup coming in just a little bit. It's going to be Alliance versus Fnatic, if I remember the brackets correctly, and indeed I do. So that's going to be a very, very fun game to watch and see exactly what's going to be coming in between those two teams. Would like to give a quick shout out to our Statman, Music. He was able to provide us with very, very interesting stats today, but I think this is his last one for now. But I'd like to thank him for helping us out there. Otherwise, thank you guys, viewers, so much for tuning on into this Premier League Season 5 Mjolnir Cup. That was the end of the quarterfinals, and we're going on into the semis in just a few minutes. Anything else you want to say before we proceed?
Nope, we're good. Let's bring it on. Fnatic versus Alliance. This will be a cracker. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Going on next one. Just a few minutes, guys. Thanks for tuning in.